does is this will give you, this equation, this formula gives you the total amount of fluid that needs to be infused over 24 hours for somebody that's been burned. Okay? So we take our numbers. We're going to say we have a 100 kilo patient. They were burned 50% of their body. Because it's going to make the math easier for us, right? So we plug that into our equation. 4 times kilos times percent. Okay? That ends up at 20,000, right? So that gives us 20,000 milliliters. So with that 20,000 milliliters, we know over 24 hours we need to infuse 20,000 milliliters into this person. Is that a ton? Yeah. Burn people are sick, okay? Do most burn people survive? If I had somebody 50% burn at 100 kilos, would I expect them to survive? Probably not, okay? Depending on the type of burns it is, okay? So over 24 hours is where that goes. We take half of that, which is 10,000, and we need to get 8 hours, okay? So over the first 8 hours, this is when we're going to see them, okay? So they need 10,000 milliliters over 8 hours. Later, they're going to need an additional 10,000 over the 16 hours afterwards, okay? Everybody tracking?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. So ever got this written down? So I can turn that off? So we need to figure out how much fluid we need to give per minute.
You're not converting that 50% into a decimal, or you just times it by 50?
50, no, I am not. I'm just times it by 50. Yep. So we end up with our 10,000 milliliters. Okay, so now this stuff might start making more sense. We got 10,000 milliliters over 8 hours. But we need to get drops a minute, right? You guys know how to do all this stuff?
This is the stoichiometry.
Stoichiometry stuff. Oh. Okay? So we know that we need to cancel things out, right? So we know we need, I gotta put this around.
Is that 1 over 60 at 60 trip set?
Nope, this is
1
hour, 60 minutes,
No,
And then
and we have 10
10
drops
drops in 1 mil.
and 1 mil. Okay, so that's gonna give us our drops here, minutes here. All right. So then, can we simplify this?
Yeah, you use 6 and 10.
Okay,
And
so we can
then
go there. So now
whatever
we have
6 divided by 10,000.
10,000 divided by 48 equals,
A big number.
I gotta do that. Wait, I can't put it. That 208. Anybody?
Let's see.
8.6.
Let's see, I'll do the math. And
I thought.
208. Huh. So we end up with 208 drops a minute. Boom. Is that a lot of drops a minute?
Could you add another 1 hour over 60 or 60 minutes over 1 minute over 60 seconds?
You could. Let's see.
Because
To get how many drops a second? You
yeah,
keep reducing it so that it would give us drops a second.
I mean, because if you're doing 208 drops per minute,
Divided by 60 is
you're not gonna be able to get that per second.
So it's divide that by 60.
divided by 60.
Yeah. Because I'm not
So
gonna
you
count
end
out
up at
208 for
3.4
drops per
drops a
second.
second.
So it's just wide open.
Oh, but you guys are better than that.
2 bags.
We have 2 lines going.
1.5 drops a minute.
Thank you. There we go. We're going to do 2 large bore IVs on all burn patients, right?
Right.
So there we go. That's how we're going to make it simple instead of being like, What are they for? What are they for? What are they for? What are they for? Trying to get our numbers in our 1 seconds, right? And so that's how
Did you catch that?
that's how we get to where we're at there. Okay.
That's 3.4 divided by
Stoichiometry stuff.
Yeah, so I have 10,000
What's
over
what?
48.
3.4
and
divided
you
by
have
2.
10 drips per.
1.75.
1.7.
What is that?
One milliliter.
No.
Okay, so 10 drips
Yeah,
per
1.7.
milliliter.
Yep.
And that's
1.7.
multiplied by that?
So
Yep,
you're
so all these are
doing
multiplied.
basically 2 drops a
Okay.
second.
So basically it comes
On each
into
line.
8 times 6 times 1.
Maybe you have
10,000
4
times 1 times 1 equals
Maybe you have
10,000
4
divided by
lines so you
48.
can get 1 drop per second.
Why
Well,
don't you just get 4 lines going, then you just, the math just gets easier.
Lactated barriers, normal saline,
So it doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
Oh, I guess not.
Okay, so one last thing, we've got like a few minutes here. I'm gonna show you, so pain management, lots and lots of narcs. We're gonna give these people lots and lots of medications, all kinds of different types of burns.
I just carried this over, so now I'm multiplying that again.
what was that?
Ring burn probably electrical
Oh,
type
I
burn.
canceled it with 60 on there.
American Burn Association stuff. All right, so let me show you. So you guys, it's a quick little scenario. You guys respond to a structure fire. You guys are the first in ambulance. You guys are first in ambulance. You guys are there before anybody else gets there, right? Fire's out. They say, hey, there's a little lady in the house. So you walk up to the front porch, still smoke coming out. You see this person figure thing sitting on the couch. You're like, oh, that person's dead. There's no way this person's not alive. So you're like, hey, ma'am, are you okay? From like me to Dustin. That's about how far away we are. And like a zombie, this person is sitting there in their chair. You're over here, and they're just like, exact noise. I kid you not. So immediately the hair on the back of my neck stands up. I'm like, oh, geez.
This is a real story.
This is a real story. This is legit. This is a real one. I got pictures to prove it too. Right? So I'm just like, this person's still alive. We gotta get this person out. So me and my partner, I'm like, hey, grab a sheet. 'Cause this looks sketch. Like this person is like fluffing off. The first time I ever saw a legit burn person. And I'm like, oh geez, okay, here we go. So I'm like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna sit her forward, we're gonna put the sheet underneath her, we're gonna grab her, and we're gonna carry it out. And we're gonna do it all in one breath. Because there's still smoke coming out of the house. I'm like, but what happened, she was sitting in the chair, smoking a cigarette, and it was one of those old fabric, old school chairs. So it fell down, and basically the chair just went whoosh. So I get in behind her to push her forward in the chair, and all I hear is like, as I'm like pulling her off the chair, right? So she had like melted to the chair. The chair and her were one. So once again, I'm like, we get her on the thing, and we get her out. So what is my top priority?
Airway, breathing, circulation.
Absolutely, airway, breathing, circulation. So we have her in the ambulance before the volunteer fire department even shows up to deal with the whole house fire thing. And so I just flagged them down as we were getting out of this mobile home park. I was just like, hey, I need 2 riders and I need them right now. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. Before we make it out of the mobile home park, I was the only paramedic in the back. I had an IV in this lady's foot. And I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing. We're going to RSI this person.
Is that because it was the only skin that was intact?
It was the only skin that we could find anything even close that was reasonable.
IO was not.
We didn't have IOs then.
Oh.
It was before those days. I'm dating myself, I know, I'm sorry. Things have evolved. We barely had paralytics back then. And so I'm just like, okay, we are going to paralyze this person and have this person intubated before we get to the ER, which is like from here to the top of the hill from 30th, on 30th. So I'm like, all right, I gotta get my shit together, let's do this, let's get going, right? So, long story short, we get all the drugs drawn up, we push it, we get her intubated by the time we hit the hospital. So, a couple pictures, just to kind of show. So, that's her legs, sort of kind of her lower legs, everything was,
Is that her calf or her
so these are her thighs,
thigh? Okay.
thighs going down into her feet, okay?
Huh.
They have no.
Oh, so the top of her legs?
Yeah,
Yep.
yep, okay? Let me scroll here. So that is her right arm. Left arm looked very much similar. And then that was the zombie-like creature that turned and made noise at me. and I didn't like it. Did not like it one bit.
Was she asking you for another cigarette?
So the smell that I smelled, I've only smelled like 2 or 3 other times. And the funny thing is they were very similar to what you guys will experience in the OR when you guys start doing your innovation stuff. They're cauterizing of when they cauterize the skin and they're using the heat to open up wounds and stuff now. That smell is legit burnt flesh. It will stay with you like all like if oh man, I can almost taste it in the back of my throat right now just thinking back to it. So if you have this presented to you, of those signs and symptoms we were talking about, what red flags do we have here?
Hair. Singed hair.
All of them?
Yeah.
Okay, right? So you got your singed hair, you got these crazy noises coming out of this person that's not even talking to you anymore. Every time they move, you hear. I did not check the polls, but she was doing enough moving that it freaked me out. And so that's the type of patient that you may be presented with where you're like, okay, like, to be honest with you, I don't even remember like paying any attention to any of this stuff. Because what was I fixated on? I was fixated on getting my IV, so I could RSI this person. We were already bagging this person. And then the only thing I was thinking about, like, I didn't even like focus on any of this stuff. All I'm doing is I'm looking at I'm like, find the cords. Oh, please God, let me find the cords, right? Because this is not gonna be around for long, right?
Right.
It's just this is one of those ones where it's just gonna swell right up, gonna shut off. And yeah, it is pretty crazy call. One of the quickest calls that I've ever had to like make that decision and be like, dude, we gotta go now, we gotta do this here, let's do this, draw our stuff, and let's go. And so that's why I try and push you guys so hard on all your quick actions, quick thought process, is because there's always this time where it's like, hey, I don't have time to look stuff up and look in the book and figure this stuff out. It's like, it will be gone, this person will be dead before I have that chance. So.
Did she make it or no?
She made it for 4 days. 4 days and
Then died.
passed away up at Emmanuel. So. Cool? Alright, you guys ready to run calls like this?
Yeah.
I suggest spending a little more time focusing on your books a little bit. Get that stuff down.